Just like that. I'm live. Hi, Amy. Hi. Justice. Seymour Matt, have you decided on your name yet? Tout04. Hi. So let's see, what are we going to do today? I'm actually waiting for somebody else to be in live video first for a little bit. I'm going to give her a couple minutes. Might have a special guest tonight, maybe not. Robot Sunset, hello. And while we sit here, tonight's beverage of choice is a Kim Crawford 2016 Pinot Noir. I really like that New Zealand goes with the twist off caps. I'm not a purist about a cork, and I like that you can reseal it completely afterwards. But I really like the New Zealand wines and the Australian wines. I think there's some really good Marlborough Vineyard down there is really lovely. Amy, had your first voice training. That's awesome. So much stuff to practice. So we're going to try to... I'm from Arizona. If anybody has questions, go ahead and try to use the little down there, the little question mark button, and see how that works. I haven't played with it yet, so I'm really curious how it'll work for just adding the question box. And then everybody can see what question I'm answering. Hi, Rhonda. So the wine is from New Zealand. Kim Crawford Vineyards. So let's see. This weekend was Pride in Phoenix, and that was a lot of fun. That was my first Pride. I think for a lot of our friends, it was also their first Pride. My wife, it was her first time as well. I tried to go last year, and through a series of unfortunate events, it didn't work out. But this year, it was pretty cool. Though, I think we have a better plan for next year to make sure things go better. We definitely got there early on Saturday because I was tabling. And so my wife already spent a lot of time out in the line in the heat before even coming in. Sunday we marched in the parade with the VA group, and that meant that we were there since 8:30 in the morning. So by the time early afternoon came around, we were both pretty done. And we didn't have a whole lot of reprieve, but I think for an outdoor festival in Arizona, they do a great job of trying to get it a little earlier. They do a great job of providing a lot of food, beverage, and seating options. And there's a fair amount of shade, so that was really nice. But we'll do better next time. I think next year we're thinking more like showing up in the early afternoon on Saturday, maybe mid-afternoon, and staying into the evening's festivities. That might be a little more fun, because Diane really wanted to dance more. Yeah, I imagine you spent your full days at Pride here in Arizona, huh, Justice? Thanks, Amy. You did too. I was really happy with how my makeup turned out on Sunday. Saturday, I was just like, oh, it's going to be hot and sweaty. I don't even care. And then I'm like, no, I want to do something fun for the parade. So it turned out pretty okay. Along with the wine, hue and full leather. Ouch. Ouch. The pups and the furries. Oh my gosh. I don't know how they do it. I don't know if they like go in stages and just walk around for like an hour and then like just go cool off somewhere private. I don't know, but wow. That's commitment. So along with the wine, pretty good. And then what I found at the store, and this is important, it's backwards for you, I think, but Easter egg Oreos. Unfortunately, they just taste like regular Oreos, but they come in a fun egg shape, and they've got a purple filling, which is pretty awesome because purple is the best. They taste like regular Oreos, though. I did earlier, I had some of that unicorn pudding, the Jell-O pudding packs, and it's a little off. It's a little worse than vanilla. It's the blue and the pink, and they're really cute, but they don't taste very good. There's a weird aftertaste that I just didn't like. No, Amy, Oreos and wine. I thought that might get a little loud. Sorry. It's kind of strange having the microphone right here. If Sam gets on, I want to be able to hear her and not have any feedback. Oreos and peanut butter. Oh yeah, I'm down with that. I would totally eat Oreos and peanut butter. What would you drink with it though? So milk is no longer the best option. What would you drink with Oreos and peanut butter?
If you couldn't drink milk?
Still milk?
Oh, flax milk.
Well, flax milk for you. Gross. Pepsi. No, not Pepsi.
Milk and Pepsi?
Oreos? With Oreos and peanut butter? Pepsi? I would rather go for like
chocolate milk of some kind.
Oh, chocolate milk could do. Cream soda maybe?
Too much sweet.
That's not too much sweet. No. I'm talking to my wife over here. So whoever that is, Diet Pepsi. Gross. Something about, have you ever tried to make, what's funny is I have an empty can of Diet Barks root beer, and I was just going to say, have you ever tried to make a root beer float with Diet root beer and sugar-free ice cream? That is an interesting science experiment, and it turns out that all of the water in the I don't know if it pulls it out of the soda or if there's just a lot of water in the ice cream, but it creates that weird ice shell around the ice cream, and it doesn't quite dissolve and mix in like a normal root beer float would be. It's really quite not as good as you'd hope. It's just don't do it. Just eat a smaller portion. How many times are you going to ask if I have a boyfriend when I'm talking about my wife sitting right there? So, no, I don't have a boyfriend. No, I don't need a boyfriend. Makes napalm. See? My wife. She's real, people. Except I think everybody in this channel that I know knows her. So, I think you met her, Amy. But no, Amy, I wasn't certain if Sam is coming online. She just asked, and I said if she wanted to, she'd be welcome. I was going to give her a couple of minutes to join. Hi, Schumann. Schumann. Okay, I thought so. So yeah, so the Pride thing was a lot going on. I don't know, I have a hard time in crowds. I have a hard time having fun when everybody else is having fun. Because there's a stupid part of me that thinks they're just laughing at me. And at some point I was able to kind of let go. And I think Saturday was fun, we're bopping around. But Sunday at the parade, even after we stood around for 4 hours before the parade started, I don't know, just walk in and just people just throwing that much love in your direction is just so positive. It's just like, it was so hard not to just be happy and bouncy and having a good time. And it was just a lot easier to lighten up. I have a hard time lightening up, especially in a group. So my wife's like, yeah, duh. But it's true. And so, yeah, it was just kind of really nice to be able to let go a little bit. So it was unusual for me in that regard, but at the same time, it's kind of how I am. If any of you ever see me before a group and I'm bouncing around giving hugs to everybody, um, I was just kind of doing the same thing. I was looking at anybody that had the free mom hugs t-shirts, and I went and gave them all hugs, and it was lovely. And got a little choked up because it was all so sweet, and it was a lot of fun. And then of course you have the haters, the Bible bashers on the one corner right at the end of the parade route, and just gave them the big old heart and love you. And then there were like all the Bible lovers that were sitting on the other corner, and they were just like, we love you anyway, we don't care, we think you're awesome just like you are. I'm like, well, thanks, that's cool, because we think we're awesome too. So it worked out pretty good. Yeah, I saw Jesse on the sideline, and I saw Ava and Elise for a little bit as well. Yeah, saw most of the people hanging around. Hung out in the booth for a bit too. It was really nice. The Latin stage had the best music, and Diane got to dance for a bit, which was really good. And they also had the boys up on boxes dancing, and kind of cute asses. So that worked pretty nice too.
Best butts all day.
Best butts all day. That is true. I don't know. There was that one real pasty small girl that had like a really nice butt. I mean, she just
Still really soft and jiggly.
yeah, but it was like really
Doing
well
a squat.
shaped. She was really well shaped. So it was fun though. What else is going on? Had my last appointment. Had my last appointment with my doctors before surgery. Went to the VA today and had a mixed bag of reactions. I went to see my primary care physician, who I have not seen since probably a year before I started transitioning. I don't see my primary care very often down there. I'm diabetic, so I go to the endocrinology clinic a lot, and because I see doctors all the time, they don't really require me to go see my PCP unless there's something extra or they need a referral for something. And the surgeon wants to make sure that I have an EKG before surgery, so I had to go to my primary care physician for that. And it was kind of funny because the nurse came out and she brought me back, and she was really groovy. And oh, there's a question. Am I getting ready for V-Day? Yes, that's actually, I'm like, thanks for asking the question in the box. I just noticed it was there. So this is preparation for V-Day. So part of that is, getting the EKG, getting my final labs. And the big thing with my labs is, they want them this week. They have to be this week. They test for nicotine and full toxicity screen and all that. But my nurse was really cool, and she was just like, okay, well, we're doing all your stuff here, and oh, it looks like you're due for a pap smear. No, I'm not. I said, I don't think so. I think I'm good. And she's like, well, it says you haven't had one. And I'm like, yeah, I'm here to, get the rest of my referral stuff for vaginoplasty. And she's just like, oh. Well, it says here you haven't had a mammogram yet either. Like, okay, I'll do it. Yeah, let them try it. Go for it. I don't know who will be more surprised, them or me, if they find something. So I get to go for my first mammogram, so that's great. But then we went and saw my doctor, and the doctor was real nice and respectful in all ways except continually sir and he. And when talking to the nurse, when I was sitting right there saying he, and just wasn't getting it, and I was correcting him, he was just like, oh, sorry, you gotta forgive me, and it's hard to get used to this. And like, you've only seen me once, dude. You saw me 3 years ago, and it's not like I have a long history with this doctor and they just only know me as a guy. I saw them one time, and that was pretty lame. And after that, it's like the only thing he's known me by for the last 21 months is Tommy. So I don't know. He's not trying very hard, but they were very nice. It's worth asking if the system is a hologic dimensions. Oh, 3D for the mammogram? Um, yeah, I don't know anything about that, but I'll try to remember that. Um, it's the VA, so you get what they have, kind of. So they're not necessarily going to have the latest and greatest equipment that I'm aware of, but we'll see what they have, and that's pretty cool. I think they might have to do something anyway, at least more towards ultrasound type of thing, just because I don't have a whole lot of mass. So, but to keep answering, am I getting ready for V-Day? Yeah, so all that's left are all my labs I'm going to do tomorrow. I've faxed over all my information from today. I'll fax over all that as soon as I get my results. As soon as all that's over there, nothing left but to fly into town and then purchase everything that I need for my stay, and that's starting to get exciting. It's been a long time and a short time all at once. It's going really fast. So suddenly it feels like there's no time at all, whereas 4 months ago it just felt like it'd be forever. But I'm still excited. I'm not scared yet. I imagine I will be like the weekend before. I'm might gonna have a little bit of, oh no, is this really the right thing to do or something? But I don't normally regret things like when I make a decision to make a change, whatever it is, whether it's buy a new car or get a new piercing or a tattoo. By the time I've decided, it's set in my mind that that's just how it is. So I'll be very surprised if I have any last minute doubts. But there was that lady a couple weeks ago that just passed, and she passed from complications due to her surgery. If anybody has seen the little trans-colored butterfly that people are putting as their profile picture, is to commemorate her, and I'm horrible because I do not remember her name. I had friends that were friends of hers, but I didn't know her directly. And she did not die from the surgery. She died from complications of healing. But it's still horrible. It's something that she felt she needed to do, and I think all of us that go through this process feel we need to do. And so we make our choice, and that's what we've got to go on. So it's there's always a risk, but that is with any surgery, and this is technically a voluntary surgery. If we look at it from a strictly physical health point of view and not a emotional and life choice need, then yes, I understand that. It's kind of like, I'm diabetic, and I'm surprised they even allowed me to get the surgery, just because a lot of places don't allow diabetics to get what they call voluntary surgery. But I think if it was fully voluntary in the eyes of the insurance company, they wouldn't be paying for it. So maybe they're starting to understand that medical necessity is more than just if I don't do it, I'm going to instantly die now, versus if I don't do it, maybe it'll kill me over a course of a couple of years. Hey Leo, good evening. I did see your prom dress, Amy. It was lovely. I hope to see. I can't wait to see all the pictures from prom. Prom is the TSAS, the Trans Spectrum Arizona, is a peer-to-peer support group here in the Valley, and they're doing prom on the 27th of April, and I will be in New York, so I will not be able to attend, but I can't wait to see everybody's pictures. I think it's going to be an absolute blast to see everybody's prom dresses and suits and everything, and all of the stuff that they wish they could have worn when they went to prom the first time, if they went at all. And just, it's pretty cool. I think she tied me over volunteering with Glisten. They do their Break the Silence dance, and that's going to be on the 20th of April. And on the 20th of April, Glisten is helping all of the students in Maricopa County. Anybody who's a high school student is welcome to come to the dance, and it's just, I don't know if you're not familiar with Glisten. Gay, Lesbian, Straight Education Network, or Gay and Lesbian Student Education Network. But it's pretty cool that they can, they're making a space for everybody to come and have their pretty much own queer prom if they want to do it, and dress up or down however much they want, but it's a space for all of the students and friends and family. Well, maybe not family, but I'm going as a chaperone. I can't wait to see what these kids come up with, because it should be a lot of fun. Yes, Amy, that's kind of my point. Like, there's a difference in needing to remove a tumor and because it's going to kill you today, or needing to do something that is going to keep me alive, or at least mentally healthy in the long term. And it's a very slow process. Like, a couple of the insurance companies, Kaiser Permanente is one of them. Some of the plans under Blue Cross Blue Shield cover a lot more things, just because they're really starting to understand that this is a medical necessity. It just isn't immediate life-threatening necessarily, more of a quality of life issue, to where I would be thinking, say, an elder person who's kind of getting on towards end of life, or I'll compare myself to a puppy, a dog who is sick and no longer has a good quality of life. Would you want to keep them living and forcing them to live? And that's kind of what we're doing with a lot of trans folks when we deny surgeries that are necessary. Not to say that trans folks are the same as dogs. I know a lot of awesome dogs, but a lot more awesome people. And it's just that same concept, though, of quality of life. If your life is so crappy that you don't want to be living it for whatever the reason, you have something you can do to change that. And one of them is very drastic, and one of them can help you. So I'm very glad that I've got Aetna coverage. They're covering my GCS. I just have to pay out of pocket, and it's going to be one of those things where it's just like, I've got my HSA ready, I've got all that stuff planned out, the finances look like they're going to work. I think it'll work. But they don't cover anything else. They don't cover facial feminization surgery, they don't cover breast augmentation, they don't cover secondary surgery if a corrective for aesthetic reasons is needed downstairs. No body fat repositioning, no hairline stuff. Though I imagine, I kind of want to check into that. I'm curious if Aetna covers like hair plugs and transplants for men that are balding, and if they do they cover hairline changes for trans women? I'd be really curious about that. So, yes, I know, Amy, you've had those thoughts. Don't do those thoughts. Go talk to Cigna. Do it safe and happy. So, and it's not a birth defect. It's just is what it is. It's going to go away. So speaking of, since we're getting morbid, speaking of, wait, I don't know how much I should say spoilers. I don't know if anybody has seen the Danish Girl. Like, I don't know. I need feedback from y'all. Have you seen the Danish Girl? Thanks, Justice. I was wondering about that, because it's like, there's a lot of stuff that, I'm sorry, boner pills for a 7-year-old dude really shouldn't be something that's covered, and yet it is. So, it's kind of scary. So I was trying to, a friend of mine said, hey, watch the Danish Girl, and I think she wanted me to watch it to be like girl power, do what you need to do. I'm not quite certain what her point was in asking me to watch it, but I did. And it's a pretty good movie, but it was just like, all I got out of that movie was not, yay, she did whatever she had to do to be happy and survive, and she was the first person to undergo, I guess it would be considered a successful uh, bottom surgery, but I was like, man, she treated her support system like shit, and that's what I took out of that movie. It's like I I I get the point of the transiness of the situation, and it took a long time for the wife to come around and to be accepting. But after she was accepting, Lily just still kept pushing her away in such a way as like, okay, well, now you're just being a jerk. And I hope she wasn't like that in real life. I hope that was more of a dramatization for the movie, but I've never read her autobiography, so I don't know. Um, but it's like, man, if you have people that love you, that are willing to believe you, that do what they need to also protect themselves, but at the same time, they're going to give you love and support. So long as they're not hurting you, take advantage of that sometimes, because I think we can all use a little more love and support in our lives sometimes. Yeah, it was a little, I didn't know her story, but it's like, the ending was predictable, even not knowing the story. It just felt right dramatically. But I wasn't certain if that's exactly how it went down or not, so now I kind of want to do some real research into her life and see. Diane was looking stuff up while we were watching the movie, and like looking at the paintings that were done and photographs there were of Lily and her wife, and even Sven, and just like, oh, all these people were kind of moosey. So they're much prettier in the movie. And the artwork style was actually more interesting in real life than it was in the movie. It was, it was that time. It was the 30s, pre-war, that cool Paris deco type stuff. It was really stylized, pretty cool. So we liked that aspect. I don't know who Kim Petras is. So, Hannah, we're trying a thing where we use the little there on my side, maybe there on your side, the little question box. If there are any questions that you want me to blabber about, I can type in the question and then I can answer it, and then it'll stay up on the screen so people, as they pop in and out, know what I'm actually answering. So, what else? Are there any questions? Anybody else got anything going on? Anybody that I know and have spoken with in person? There's Sam. Good evening. You don't have that question box. I didn't before either. I wonder if it took an update to do that. Huh. Okay. That would make sense. Did you want to pop on? Are you presentable? See, now it's a party. I would share my Easter egg Oreos with you, but when I chew them, I chew right into the microphone. So what was my favorite part of Pride? Gosh, what was my favorite part of Pride? I think the parade was my favorite part of Pride. That's where I got the most happy and choked up and wanting to just like... See, I can show you their Easter egg shaped Oreos with purple filling. So yeah, that was just... The parade itself, once it got moving, was pretty awesome. And then just seeing so many people just running around, being happy and not being shitty to each other is just like so much joy. And like so much joy, even the Bible thumpers at the end of the street couldn't break it. It was just, it was lovely. I absolutely loved it. I think, I don't always, like, as I was saying earlier, I don't always do so well in groups, large crowds like that. And it was not overwhelming. It was really lovely. It was just so much, I don't know, so much positivity in one place. You can't help but get it on you. So I enjoyed that. How about you? Sam, come, join me. Please. And then tell me what your favorite part of Pride is. Yeah, Amy, I don't know how anybody could go in there and not feel welcome because everybody's welcome. It was just lovely. It was super sweet. I didn't see. Did I see pictures of what you were wearing? I don't remember. Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. Then you don't end up also with the entourage and the crazy amount of everybody but Delaware showing up. I actually asked that question and somebody claimed they were from Delaware on my feed, and I'm not certain I believe them now. You're starting all sorts of internet conspiracies. So Zafarkin, I've seen you on my posts and stuff, but you don't really say much. So hi. Um, what was your favorite part of Pride, Amy? We did see the historical AZ Gay, or was it Gay Phoenix AZ, something like that. Gay Arizona. I posted about it. And it was lovely because it was just like a bunch of the old timers up there. That was where I got that picture with Millie and Monica, and Marshall Shore was running it, and it was just kind of nice. It's a little hard because a bunch of old people telling old people stories, but at the same time, it was really fun. Just people that started Echo and some of the original people making some of the lesbian bars in the valley. They were all up there, so that was pretty cool. We saw some fantastic drag queens over at that same side stage, the one to the right when you first went in the entrance. And the Latin stage. Those boys were hot. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we watched that for a while. Dan getting her dance on was really fun too. We found a shady spot and just let her rock out to the Calabres 2000. It was awesome. Good for her. I'm glad she got to dance a little bit. Yeah, I didn't wear anything so daring. You saw my pictures. They're just jean shorts and t-shirts. I at least wanted to be, I am from Arizona, so I do try to dress comfortable in the heat. I will tell you, so my friends, Heather and Doug, they got me that transgender flag I was wearing on Sunday. They got me that. It was supposed to be for my birthday. It took a little while for them to get it to me. And it was, usually it's a nylon flag, and the one they gave me was cotton or linen, 2-layer linen, so it was like fairly light, but at the same time no light got through it, and it was like perfect. Kept me from getting any sort of sunburn. Just safe all day long, because oh my gosh, so much skin walking around there, all the light skinned people walking around exposing body parts that only see the sun once a year. I just hope they all wore all the sunscreen, otherwise today must really suck. Oh my gosh, underside of your boobs should never have a sunburn. I didn't really watch anything at the main stage. Like when I went and found Sam, when I went and found you and Ava and your wife and stuff, we were just kind of around there looking for you all, and we didn't really watch anything on the main stage. I have no idea what was going on up there. It seemed like some dance routines, sometimes decent music, really eclectic music. I wonder how much. Wait, let me think about this. So I don't know how much crossover there is between the LGBT community and country bars, and then I realized there's a lot of lesbian country bars in the valley, so maybe there is quite a bit of crossover there. That just came to me. Yeah, I was wearing big floppy hat. Saturday I also had my umbrella, and I had the flag as a cape, and that kept the sun off me, and so it was very good there. Very dehydrated, but still kept the sun off me, and that was the happy part for me. I think my hands might have gotten a little burned, but you can't really see it here, but they're a little red. Not too much. I can almost draw a smiley face in them. Not quite yet. Well, I hope you got one of those little flags, and then you could get Monica to sign it. That was kind of special. I don't know how often she shows up for Pride, but that was kind of a cool thing. It was just one of those things, like I was sitting in the booth on Saturday, and Kendra's like, oh, by the way, guess who's going to sit next to us for a while and sell her books? I'm like, okay, that's cool. And so, yeah, we sat there and talked for a while. It was really cool. I got a copy of her book, got it signed, and then she signed my flag. And so, yeah, another book to read. I have one of them, Me, Myself, and They by Joshua somebody. I don't remember their last name, that I started reading. My problem is I like these books. Somebody else sent me a book because I had sent her all of my leftover estrogen patches. Shh, don't tell anybody. When I switched to injections, I had a whole bunch of patches left. And they sent me a copy of their autobiography as well. I have no idea who the person is, but I have a hard time reading nonfiction. Even a good nonfiction story tends to be really dry. Like David Sedaris, his nonfiction, they're just stories of essays about his life. Like we went to a reading of his, and it was super funny. He's reading excerpts and stuff that he's read on like This American Life and stuff. And it's really funny. He does a really good stage show. But just reading it, I fall asleep. We've got Eddie Izzard's autobiography, the most recent one, and Diane's loving it. I can't read it. What's that guy's name? What's his name? What did the The Evil Dead? Sam Raimi? Is it Sam Raimi? The other guy. The guy with the chin. And he was in that spy show down in Florida. But he has his autobiography. Again, I just have a hard time reading it. I just can't do it. I try, and I get about 2 pages and I fall asleep. So maybe audiobooks would be the way to go for something like that. But I don't know how many of these are transcribed. Transcribed, that's not the word. Transcribes the other way, when you go from reading to writing. Just audiobook. I don't know. Yeah, True Selves, I've never heard of that book. That's something, so for me, when I first got into this stuff in 1999, I guess it was, 98, 99, there weren't really any resources then. Actually, I need somebody, I'll get it for next time. Next Monday, I'll show a book. I got a couple of books back then that were super helpful with presentation. It's like Miss So-and-so's book for boys who want to be girls or something like that. And it was super helpful with a lot of tips that are pretty common now, but at the time were hard to find. Things like how to tuck, how to make breast forms out of like rice and nylons, how to using color correction with color theory for if you've got blue beard, using orange foundation and then putting color corrector and then putting foundation over it. Things to do, things to look for in a wig, how to shave your legs properly, all the things that 20 years ago there was a lot more shame in coming out societally than, like I think individually everybody's got their own level of shame up to a certain point, and then we all break our shell and come out and go, why was I so ashamed? This is awesome. But it's just one of those things where the book was super helpful my first time around. Yes, Miss Vera's. Exactly. Thanks, Justice. Why? You just know stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't read it I haven't even looked at it in probably 15 years, so I don't know how well it would be received today. I'm curious how the wording holds up, the way people are a lot more sensitive to proper gendering and the pronoun usage and the words that they choose. People are a lot more vocal about how sensitive they are too. So I'm curious how that book holds up. You know her? Do you still talk to her? yeah, I picked that up in '99, and it was so helpful when I was just a little baby trans trying to figure things out. Excuse me. Didn't cover my mic fast enough. I'm sorry. Um, I hope she realizes that she's helped a lot of people. That was really cool. And I had another one too, but most of my stuff at the time tended to run towards erotica, um, because I thought it was all fetish, and I didn't understand it was me. Um, and there doesn't necessarily have to be a difference between your fetishes and your true self, but at the same time, um, once the sex kind of fell away, and it was like, oh no, this is still very interesting. I like it a lot. Um, oh, okay. And you've got some stories. I I certainly hope that we get a chance to just sit and talk for long periods of time while I'm in New York. I don't know if you'll be able to have any time, but I hope so. Um, yeah, so I don't even remember what I was talking about. Oh yeah, the lack of it being fetishized really just once that aspect went away, and it was like, I still enjoy. Um, I enjoyed just dressing in clothes that I liked. I didn't consider it cross dressing anymore. It was just like, wow, those stockings are really cute. That corset's really cute. It goes well with that skirt and that button down dress shirt. I used to wear that all the time. Skirts, button downs, and corsets, that was kind of my jam in the goth scene for a long time. Um, Hello, GJ Broder. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Uh, I, I know it's like come down to it. I hope more people are able to spread the load of probably my neediness while I'm sitting up, just kind of around up there. I don't want to put too much burden on any one person, including Diane. And so I want to hopefully keep things fun so that we're not putting a burden on anybody. Um, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting time out in New York. I don't know. Is the weather supposed to be pretty decent by the time we're hitting end of the month? I haven't checked weather yet. I mean, I'll mostly be inside, but I am going to have to run back and forth for a couple of appointments. I don't know how cold it'll be, or if I'm going to be sitting in a little air conditioner room. So the question is, how long does it take to get your hair to grow? My patience in hair growth is short. Ooh, 70. Okay, that's decent. Um, so I don't know if you recall when we were still working together, I started growing my hair out about 4 years. No, I've been out for almost 2 years. So 3 years before that, my hair, I've only had trims in 5 years, and it's, I think, at the length that my hair is naturally going to be. I don't think it's going to be, it comes down to, nipple line is here. So I'm about 4 or 5 inches below the nipple line. In the back, I don't know. I can't even feel how long that is because it's below the broad line in the back too. The interesting thing is it looks sloppy or different lengths, not just because my hair is super fine and breaks easy, and then dyeing it doesn't help with that at all. But as soon as I stopped testosterone, as soon as I was on testosterone inhibitors, the hairline up here, as well as all the hair up through here, started growing back. And so I've got a lot of hair that is kind of getting into this long, and this is about 2 years worth of growth, is this stuff up here. And that's, just from stopping testosterone. I got very lucky. Oh, Aveda is what destroyed my hair in the first place. The purples were awful. But I don't use their shampoo and conditioner. Are they the color stuff? I am curious. So your hair is curly, so it's going to seem like it takes twice as long for it to grow because it's got to take a indirect route. And so yeah, this is just 5 years. I've probably had over those 5 years about 6 inches cut off, just to clean up the ends. Yeah, the purples that I got from Aveda, and I went to 3 different Aveda salons, and the product was just, the color wasn't good, but it also fried my hair really bad towards the ends. So what I'm mostly doing is I've got some stuff like I don't use any heat treatment on my hair. I don't curl it. I don't blow dry it. I use a lot of leave-in conditioner. I use the Essence of Health. No, Essence of Beauty. I don't know. I'll have to look that up. It's hi Irina. Um, but I use that's what I use. It's where you kind of say these are the characteristics of my hair and what I'm looking for, and then they mix it to order and send it out to you. And yeah, so what we used here was the ion from Sally, and it's permanent instead of a semi-permanent, and so I didn't have to bleach. It does take developer, so I put it in there and then left it in for half hour, 45 minutes, and washed it out. And I really like this grape jelly color. I think it's a lot of fun. It makes me very happy. Because Manic Panic, I love their reds. I like the Manic Panic reds. Their blues would never stay in my hair. They always turn to like a seaweed light blue or kind of a blue green. But I always had to do, when I did blues, I had to do special effects, and so like midnight blue, and then it would fade into a nice blue. So I like that quite a bit. But yeah, this is pretty good. I'm happy with this. This is our second time using this product, and it goes in pretty easy. It's a good heavy cream, so it doesn't get everywhere, and it washes off my skin really well. So yeah, I like it. Yeah, we used to bleach every time. I don't know if you remember from, Justice, I don't know if we went to golf clubs when my hair was blue. I don't know if we knew each other. Um, but yeah, we would always do pretty much, it'd get to be about a half inch long, and Diane would only bleach the roots and then re-dye the whole thing. And then another half inch, bleach the roots, re-dye the whole thing. But my hair bleaches out to white. It goes all the way out, so it takes those colors really well. But by the time it would get to be a little past ear length from the top, it just starts getting really frizzy. So I had to be really careful. So yeah, for me, 5 years. And if your hair grows at my speed, then that means it would be about half as long as this, because it's doing this all the way down. Yeah, I take the, is it biotin or biotin? I don't know. The B word. Take that and the keratin or creatinine. I don't know what supplement it is. I know it when I'm looking at it. I always take that for my nail growth, because I'm finally getting to the point where my nails have grown all the way out. Last time I had a manicure was the weekend before Halloween, and just now my nail bed is almost to the point where I can cut off the last of the damage where they grind it. I used to take vitamin E, and something that I am taking, my doctors told me to stop taking vitamin E, and I don't remember why. It's just in my notes to stop, and I don't know what it was. The calcium probably in Tums. I do take a lot of calcium because I have osteoporosis, and so I take calcium with vitamin D as well, and that helps. I used to do like kelp. I think all that really is in kelp is the vitamin E. I think that seems to be the most prevalent thing in there. So, I don't even know how long I've got. Oh, like 11 more minutes. Okay. So come on, what's next? Questions, stuff to talk about. Somebody wrote me today, sent me a direct message, and they sent me pictures of their Lego collection. Oh my god! It was amazing. It's just like so many of the modular buildings, all the different buildings, and they had like the roller coaster and like all this cool stuff, and just like massive, like all over this room of all the town stuff. It kind of looked like the basement in the Lego movie. Just amazing. It's like, bravo, well done. It's kind of fun when you're a grown-up and you can afford toys. all the toys that you wish you had when you were younger and wouldn't have appreciated anyway. But I think we just appreciate them in a different way now anyway. Because I certainly love my Star Wars Lego sets, but it's also kind of a crying shame that I don't tear them apart and free build with them anymore either. Yeah, that Lego Mustang is pretty sharp. I like that, and I believe it's a Bugatti. The Bugatti is really nice looking too. Diane, of course, likes the Volkswagen, the Beetle, and the bus. Those turned out to be really good sets. Now, did they buy you a set of the Lego Mustang as well? I mean, a really good friend would do that. Yeah, Lego is really fun. I have found, why does everything have to be transiness? But with estrogen, building Lego is harder. Oh nice. My skin is much more tender. It's just so, I don't know, like putting the pieces together. By the end of it, my fingers are just raw. I don't know. It's just, I don't know if it's because I don't work outside and I don't rock climb or anything anymore, but my fingers have just gotten really delicate. Ooh, speaking of Lego, we need to switch Voltron back over from the robot to the lions, because we decided we were going to do that every couple of months so that we can have it both ways. Yeah, I was also really happy with the BMW R1200 GSA, Lego set that I bought, because it's the same as my bike. And so I've got a Lego version and I've got a little model version from the BMW museum. And then I got my bike, and so I have them in like 3 different little scales. They're doing really good in the Expert Builder series. I think that's what they're calling them. The only set I have left to build right now is that one in the corner, which is going to take some doing. And when Diane found out that I was going to put it on that high top table, she wasn't very happy. She's like, that can be a temporary home. But I did see in the Lego store that people have found ways of mounting it vertically. You can also put it into a glass coffee table from IKEA. And yeah, the Addams Family house, so good. The Sleeping Beauty castle is amazing. There's a lot of... Wait, is it Addams Family? I thought it was the Munsters house. Either way, the Gothic home is lovely. But yeah, I just, you run out of places to put these things, and I can't dedicate a whole lot more because I also have 9 or 10 boxes of like paper boxes for reams of paper, banker's boxes, under the pool table of Star Wars action figures that I have to find a place for. And I've still got 2 slat wall boards, 4x8 slat wall boards, to put them on, but I don't have wall space to do that. So there's a bunch of sets that I still need from my Star Wars series of Lego. I think I have room for 1 more shelf, and I gotta do Snowspeeder, and I'm told, little birdie told me that they are re-releasing 10-4 Blockade Runner, and then they're also doing, I need the Y-Wing as well. Those are kind of the 3 that I want. But there's this thing that, I don't know if the 10-4 comes with a smaller version of something else, but the Star Destroyer comes with a small, like this big 10-4, and then the Super Star Destroyer comes with this scale Star Destroyer, and I did not get any of them, but if you get the Death Star, one of the versions has a small scale Super Star Destroyer, so you get like the scale all the way down the line for perspective, and I think that is really cool, and I would love to have all of them. So is it the Lego Adams Family house or is it Sika? I don't know which it is Lego. Okay, I've seen it, but it's like you see so much, and it's like, what is that? Either way, I don't have the space to put it anywhere. I was gonna get Diane the Sleeping Beauty's castle and put it where the Millennium Falcon is going, but then where would I put stuff? We're almost out of room. We're also almost out of time. Yeah, which Death Star though? I thought the Death Star 2 was a better model because I'm not a big fan of the playset uh, models. Like the bridge of the Superstar Destroyer opens up and it's like the bridge where they're standing there and all of the bounty hunters are standing, and it's neat, it's fun, but because I don't play with it and I use them as models, um, I don't get that much joy out of the reenactment pieces within the Death Star. So the original Death Star that didn't have that, and then the Death Star 2 that looks like the one that's under construction. Those are the two that I really like. But then the version after that had the play spots inside. Yeah, that's probably the newer one. And then I think this Millennium Falcon also has a lot of those play areas inside. You can pull the panel off, almost like the original plastic play set, where you pull the panel off and have the little chess table there, whatever they call it. And I don't think there's a room for all the capes, though. Okay, so we got about 3 minutes. Anybody have anything super like awesome they want to bring up right before I close down? That's how things normally go. It's like, ooh, we're almost done. I figure in about 2 minutes, a couple more people will show up, and then I'll have to cut them off. And I don't know that there's going to be a timer. Sam, are you still on? She is not. I'm not curious if there's still going to be a timer like there used to be. Used to be you get a 2-minute warning. I think now it just cuts you off. I just know I started right at 8 o'clock, and it's 8:58 now. Good. Practice all the time. The hardest thing for me was the switching back and forth, because from May of 2017 until end of November when I came out at work, every day at work I was speaking my male voice, and then my trips back and forth to work I was doing my pitch glides and working on just varying intonation and things. But switching back and forth was, it was such a hassle, and I'd forget, and I lost so much time that I could have been practicing and exercising my vocal cords to do better. Resonance, like S-O-N. But yeah, so work on your resonance. Say words, a lot of M words, N. Things that bring that up to the front of your mouth. If you can get that vibration in the front where you're holding it there all the time, and yeah, your pitch is high. It's artificially high, but it'll come down as you work on the other aspects, and you'll fall into an because I thought pitch was everything when I started too, and I was just like, it's all about the pitch. And I can't get my pitch higher, and it sounds funny, and I don't like it, and I don't want to sound like Mrs. Doubtfire. And then over time, I was finally just like, well, most of the women in my life have deeper voices than I do, so it can't be about the pitch. And finally, my third set of speech pathologists were like, no, there's this whole slew of factors that goes into your voice, so practice all of them. And that's what I do now. And maybe next year I'll look at these videos and go, oh God, that was awful. But for now, I can speak naturally. I can just talk. When I'm agitated or excited or something, I still blurt out, and sometimes, or if I'm in a bar, it drops way down. I don't like it, but it works. I'm not hating myself about my voice as much as I used to, so that's something that I think I've made a lot of progress on, at least. If nothing else, accepting my voice is half of it. All right, we got 15 seconds left. Thank you all for joining me. Again, every Monday I'm going to do this until I get bored with doing it. And I want to just kind of make sure that we just have a regular space to come and talk. So I will see you next week, and have a lovely week and a good weekend.